Okay, so thinking about going for an electric car, choosing your first EV can feel quite overwhelming, but don't worry, I've got you covered. The next few minutes, I'll guide you through everything you need to know to pick the perfect EV that's right for you here in the UK. So let's get started. And don't forget, like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the future videos that I'm produce. And I'm going to try and find somewhere nice and warm because it's a bit chilly out here today. Okay, that's a little bit better. It's a little bit warmer in here. Okay, so a couple of things you need to consider when you're looking for an EV is number one, what are your needs? What is your need for a vehicle? Because that will help decide what type of car is best for you. So first up, think about your lifestyle. Are you mainly doing city commutes or you do longer motorway drives? Compact cars like the Peugeot E208 or the MG4 Standard, which is the lower end one, are perfect for short trips in and out of towns and cities. Brilliant. But for long distance, you might want something with a bigger battery, like a Tesla Mark III or the Kia EV6. One thing to consider about um, an EV car is during the winter at the moment, we're in winter in the UK, and the batteries are less efficient. That is just how batteries work. They are less efficient. So during the summer, my standard range MG4 gets about 200 miles to a full charge, maybe 185. Depends on how I drive it, which makes a difference. Whether I'm driving it local, whether I'm driving on a motorway, whether I'm accelerating harshly or I'm quite laid back, it makes a difference to it, just like in a petrol car. There are many new EVs that are coming out with increasingly improved battery technology, and whilst new technology is coming out, the prices are beginning to drop. So consider if you like a car that is good on the motorway with longer distances, or you'd rather some short range that allows you to do um, those little trips at a cheaper cost. In another video that I did, I'll put a link to it in the description below. I did a cost analysis of how much it was to run an EV car versus a petrol car in 3 different scenarios. So you could see the cost differences from being able to home charge and then have to charge up on the route, such as you're doing a longer trip, and then you can't home charge. You are relying on public charging, and the differences between that and a petrol car filling up at the forecourt. So have a look at that video. You might find it quite useful when you're considering your budget for the car. Also, consider what's your budget. Okay, so what is the budget that you have? Are you looking to buy it outright? Are you looking to lease it, which a lot of people are now doing? Or are you looking to buy maybe a second-hand one? And there are some brilliant second-hand cars on the market at the moment. There may be some government grant schemes still out there, especially for installing home chargers where you can charge at home. Plus, there's a growing market, and so many second-hand cars are on the market at the moment, and unfortunately, their price is deteriorating. A lot of this is because of negative press in the news about EVs. So if you're selling a second-hand EV, you're not going to get a lot for it. If you're looking to buy one, it's a fantastic time to buy one. So also consider things like your weekly spend on fuel at the moment. Consider things such as road tax, which on a new EV at the moment is 0 per year for the first year. Then it goes up to 195, which is a new tax coming in. So consider that. Maybe look at a salary sacrifice scheme through work if your employer does one, where you get the cost taken out of your salary before tax, so you get tax benefits. So have a think about what your budget is and how you're going to pay for it. Like, say, is it monthly, outright, or via your salary? So where there may be more expensive EVs than a nice car per month, it might cost you more for the vehicle. It could be offset by other costs such as your EV charging versus petrol and diesel. So when I got my EV, I got a deal with British Gas and I got 12 months free off-peak charging, which is fantastic. Consider the services as well around that, and they are a lot cheaper to do than a normal petrol car. So think about the range. So one of the biggest concerns for first-time buyers or those considering is the range of the vehicle. Most modern EVs offer between 150 and 300 miles on a single charge. That will drop during the winter because batteries are less efficient. But be honest, what are your daily driving habits? If you're only doing 30 miles a day, then you don't need a massive range in the vehicle. And with over 70,000 charging points across the UK, compared to 7,000 petrol stations, you're actually never far from a top-up if you do need one. There's also a video that I've done, I'll put a link in the description, about range anxiety and how it is something that people do have, but it is something that the media likes to play with and scare people. So there are far more public chargers in the public domain. As I say, there's over 70,000 of them, compared to 7,000 petrol stations. So you're probably a lot closer to one of them. And whilst we're talking about charging, consider where you will charge. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, do you have off-street parking, so you can have a home charger? If not, then check out applications such as ZapMap to locate the chargers around where you live, and it will tell you the costs as well for those charging stations. Remember, rapid chargers can get up to 80% charge in only about 30 minutes. The new Citroen EC3 claims to charge from 20 to 80% in 26 minutes. On my last video, I did a video about the BYD Seal, and there's a bigger battery, and it's 30 to 80% in 26 minutes. So that's normally, on a long journey, that's just enough time for you to go and have a quick comfort break, grab a coffee, get back to the car, and it's charged, ready to carry on. So then my next little tip is actually go and see these vehicles. Go and sit in them and see how they feel. You need to take it on a test drive. Pay attention to the smoothness of the vehicle, the acceleration, and EV cars are rapid.
3, 2, 1, go! Instead of disappearing, I can't begin to describe. He's not even there. He's gone.
Any technology features like regenerative braking, which adds battery power back in as you brake, or what the infotainment system's like. Are they laggy or are they quite responsive? What can you do on them? Consider boot space, passenger comfort, and, even little things like cup holders. Can you get a Stanley cup in there or just a bottle of water? My gripe about most is that they don't make proper use of the under-bonnet space. So there's no engine. So there's room for cables or a small overnight bag that you could put under there, but they don't seem to use that area in most cars. Tesla do, but most don't. But you can buy third parties to actually add on to it to give you that ability, which is something I'm going to be looking at for my MG. Like I say, it's not a showstopper. It's just a little bit annoying, really. Think about the buttons as well in the cars. Do you like clicky buttons or do you prefer touch screen and so on? Okay, and finally, EVs are cheaper to run than petrol or diesel cars, where you've got the ability for home charging or low electric charging, but there's no oil changes, there's fewer moving parts, or less things are going to go wrong with it. Plus, in the UK at the moment, EVs are exempt from congestion charges and offer lower benefit in kind if you are a company car driver. As I mentioned, there is more work. There is more to working out the costs than just how much is the car to buy. what else can you reduce off there? Consider depreciation, as I've mentioned, if you're going to buy it, or even consider, as I've already mentioned, a second-hand car, because there's some really good deals out there at the moment. Companies, um, uh, manufacturers have got deadlines and strict margins that they need to sell X amount by, otherwise they get fined by the government for missing their targets. So they will do deals to get them off their forecourt, so you can get a good bargain. So overall, whether you're after a city runaround or a long range road tripper, there's an EV for you. Take your time, do your research, and you'll be cruising in an electric vehicle in no time. The other thing I would say is I I am an EV driver. I've had mine for about 9 months now, 9-10 months. I've had my car, and I absolutely love it. But I do appreciate that an EV isn't for everybody. If you've got no off-site parking, you've got no ability to have a charger, you've got expensive public chargers around you. These might be reasons why an EV might not suit you, and that's absolutely fine. I am not saying that everybody has to have an EV car, because that's just not the case, and that's not for me to say. What I would consider would be looking at a hybrid, in that case, and seeing if you can get a hybrid but with a bigger battery, because that cost saving will help you, especially such as the MG3, I think it is, that self-charges the car. It's not a plug-in hybrid, so you don't plug it into the mains or a charger to charge it up. It gets charged from the main petrol engine, so you can get some very high miles per gallon equivalent, or miles per kilowatt in electrical terms, out of those vehicles, because it will use both of them. And the costs of them are relatively inexpensive compared to some of the higher end full EVs. So that is another option I would consider. Go EV if you want the full benefit of electric. If you can't, then definitely consider a hybrid. So if you consider the MG3 hatchback, as I say, that is outright on the road price is about £21,000, which is extremely cheap for a 5-door hatchback hybrid. If you take that out on some kind of higher purchase, then that's going to be a little bit more. But on the road price, you're only talking about £21,000 for a new hybrid, which is pretty cheap. One of the cheapest that I've found. The other thing you need to consider is what type of car do you want? Do you want a small hatchback like the MG3? Do you want something a little bit bigger like the Nissan Juke or the Qashqai? Or would you rather have something a little bit more sporty like the Cyberster, which is an awesome looking car, or the BYD Sea Lion, which again I've seen, and I've done a video about BYD cars a week or two ago, and their cars are extremely nice to look at. So there's a big range. Like I say, there's a car for everybody. There's a new one that I've seen today that I'd never actually heard of, which is the GWM Aura, ORA, and they're like the new Super Mini. They're like a mini, same size as maybe one of the older Mini Clubmans or the older Fiat 500s before they kind of went on testosterone. They're a cute little car, and that comes with a 48 kilowatt battery. So you'd probably best part of 150 miles out of one of them. Very cute cars to look at. I know people that would love one of those. Go and have a look, go and have a test drive, see what you think. But you can go from there all the way up through to the bigger, like I say, the family SUVs, like the Qashqai, the MG ZRS, I think it is, or something a little bit more two-seater roadster like the Cyberster. It's up to you which one you decide, but I would say you wouldn't be disappointed whichever one you chose. So, right, that's it from me. I hope this video was of use to if you are considering a new electric car, or considering whether you go electric car or hybrid. So there are benefits to both. Yeah, please like and subscribe, help me grow the channel, but also it means that you won't miss out on any of these videos that I release in the near future. And whilst I've got you, why don't you go and check out this latest video, which is about how Donald Trump's tariffs could be the end of China's reign in America, and why Donald Trump and Elon Musk seem to be very scared of China's EV cars. Until next time, thank you very much for watching.